Alright guys, I figured I'd make a quick little video on this extension cord I'm making. This is a 10-foot cord I'm putting together for a little tool bank that I have. Right here is a 12 14-inch Delta Rockwell table saw. I have an 8-inch joiner over there, 20-inch planer back here, and back this way behind us I have a Delta shaper, and they all use the same plug and same receptacle. And instead of me having to climb up in the ceiling on a ladder or a stool or something and change out each time I use a different tool, I've been putting together an extension cord for it. I have one end already done. This is the plug, and I'm working on the receptacle side now. And I'll go ahead and say I'm not an electrician, and I know enough of what I'm doing to be dangerous, and I do not recommend that any of y'all copy me or exactly what I'm doing in this video. But if you're comfortable enough with electricity, then by all means, go ahead and do this yourself, because it will save you a ton of money instead of having to buy a cord. So I'm going to jump right into it. This is a piece of 10-2 with ground SO cord. Make sure when you have your plug or your receptacle, you go ahead and slide the body onto the cord first, because I have wired this up on the end of the cord many times without having that on there. And I hate having to do work twice. You got to pull this off to put that on. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to get all of my connectors, my wires in the connector, the same as they are on the other end. And this being a 240 volt cord, this is not as straightforward as you might think. Well, I guess it is pretty straightforward. I shouldn't say that. That was the wrong word. This is pretty straightforward. I just want to make sure that all of my wires connect to the same terminal as they do on the other end. The X terminal, the Y terminal. So I'm just making sure of that right now. And I'm sure you can see I have my little 12 volt drill over here in the background. For these connectors, I do not use the drill on them. I'd much rather know that they're in there tight by hand than tight by the drill. Not to mention that the drill will strip these little screws out pretty bad. And this receptacle here on the end of this cord is pretty pricey, and I don't feel like having to buy another one of these. I believe this was like $28 or $38 or something. And this is the female end of the plug. This is a 30 amp 250 volt plug made by Eaton, and this is a L630 twist locking plug. Not sure if y'all can see that here. Inside the housing right here, there is a little tab that sticks out, and that corresponds with this spot right here on the plug. So that way this will sit up on it and register. And I'll go ahead and spin these down. Now, you just heard me talk about the drill. I will use the drill for this. I have it on a low speed. I'm not using much pressure at all, and I'll come back by hand and check these after. All right, come back by hand and get these good and snugged up. Now, I know you just heard me say that this plug here, between the two ends, I have roughly $50, $60 or so in that. In the cord itself, I have probably another 20 or 25. But that said, this roll of cord that I got was a 20-foot roll, I believe. I can look at it right here real quick. Yep, that was a 20-foot roll of cord. and I had actually put a 10-foot cord on one of my machines. I think that was my joiner. And I'm taking the other 10 feet and making this extension cord. So now I got both ends wired up. Both ends are clamped on tight. And this L630 locking plug, as you can see, they go together and then they twist to lock. And they cannot pull apart. Most of your industrial machinery will have some type of locking plug like this so they can't pull apart. And it's a little bit nicer, especially on machinery. And it's a great plug all around. Most of the stuff here in my shop does use it. Most of the equipment is single phase like this here. I do have a few 3-phase machines that I run off of what is it? It's a rotary phase converter. And that also has a similar twist locking plug, although that is the 3-phase side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here. All right, I know that may have been a little odd jump cut, but I just wanted to show that this does work. This side here is my extension cord. This is the plug coming off of my table saw, and I'm not going to raise a blade above the table, but it does work. And this here is my Delta 1214, well, Rockwell Delta model 1214 table saw. It'll accept a 12 or a 14-inch saw blade. And I did do a restoration on this, so hopefully before too long I have a video coming out on this. Catch y'all guys next time. Thanks for watching.